Starting off. All right. And we're up and running. This is Russell Hunter's The Brewmance Friday Nooner. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Hope we got a good weekend planned. Hope we got a safe and fun weekend planned. I'll be out at the club. I'll be doing a little bit of hunting there with wildlife for tomorrow's celebrity wing shoot. Celebrity. No, I'm not a celebrity. Don't worry about it. I'm not thinking like that. I'm not big time in everybody. I'm just the vice president of the organization, an elected position. So don't worry. I didn't appoint myself is really what I was just trying to get at right there. We're going to be out having a fun pheasant hunt and good time there. So got that planned. Rob, what you got going on this weekend, Kat?
And I got an event tomorrow with my Earn It All team. Well, it's an entrepreneurs event, bunch of guest speakers. We're going to be out there hanging out. So that's what I got tomorrow. And Sunday is like the Lord's rest day, baby. So we're going to take a little break on Sunday.
Oh, heck yeah. Especially after this event, this wing shoot thing. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to, don't even know.
Early in the morning.
Yeah.
A lot of energy you got to give out to that. So yeah, definitely Sunday, you got to chill.
Okay, Governor Ducey's going to be there. So can we start with that, Rob? Because this is going to be interesting for me as we have spent, or at least, excuse me, I have. I think you joined in on the course as well, knowing him during COVID as Lord Ducey. So this will be the first time I've seen him face to face since then. So it's going to be, hey, Gov, how you doing?
Yay. Call him Lord. See what he does. Call him Lord.
What's that?
Call him Lord. See what he does.
I don't know. How do you call him Lord? I don't know if you call him
Lord. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. My bad. Yeah. Lord fuck. I mean, Ducey. Yeah. You can't do that either. So
you could ask him. You say, so, Gov, tell me about those difficult decisions you made to crush small businesses.
The man will be armed, actually, and it's funny because he said that his and his son's the shotguns are up north at their place or whatever like that. So he borrow shotguns. So I'm like, you can borrow mine. So tomorrow I might get shot with my own shotgun. So who the heck knows? It's going to be an interesting, definitely an interesting event for sure.
Just like,
what's that?
Oh, bang! Here's Mike.
Nobody's chaining anything. There's going to be no Cheney events there at all. No. But good. Speaking of people getting offed. Vladimir Putin apparently has ended the reign of his potential opposition, and the man that he has tried to poison, I think, a dozen times, and is incarcerated for the last, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years, has died at the age of 47. So immediately the media jumps in and starts clutching their pearls, and oh my goodness, a dictator has killed his opposition. What are we to do? What does this mean for NATO? What does this mean for any legislation going through the pipeline in Washington, D.C.? It's absolutely absurd.
It's like sports. Leading up to the Super Bowl, there was all this analysis about how either the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win or how the 49ers are going to win because of this, and this. The only thing that matters is when you play the game. So all the analysis is just filler. It's talk. Same thing with what the media is doing here. This is them going back to the well over and over again, pressing the panic button, because that's what the media does. Language is contagious, Mike. You and I have talked about that a million times, one of my theories. And what I mean by that is the language that you consume gets in your head. And the more you consume that same language, it just sits in there. And then you hear it more and you reinforce it more. So you believe it more and your emotions get tied to it. So the media knows, ooh, there's that fear button that we pull all the time, because for them, they filter everything through a Donald Trump lens. So what they're going to eventually try to do now that we're in peak election season is they're going to say Donald Trump is friends with Vladimir Putin, a guy who kills his opposition. What does that say about Donald John Trump?
Yeah, okay, and I agree with the whole political motivation, especially the election part of it. But I just think it's wildly disingenuous by the basically media and powers that be, and the freak out on the right, the freak out on the left. I think it's a bit disingenuous coming from a nation that we just learned last year that the CIA killed one of our sitting presidents. I mean, okay, so why? Oh, Vladimir Putin is so evil. Wait a second, CIA killed JFK. And we have aliens that we didn't know about. I mean, come on. And now we're going to get all excited. Oh, what does this mean for NATO? What does this mean? It means absolutely jack and or squat. What it means is what Rob is getting at. What it means is that it will be used for some sort of political advantage of one side or the other, or not even really an advantage, because I think we, the people, are smarter than this. But some sort of a perceived advantage for one side or the other in using this as a proof for whatever nonsense they're trying to do. Like, I don't know, conveniently, he dies for this narrative right as we're trying to pass $60 billion for Ukraine. I don't see any coincidence there, do you?
No, not at all.
No.
But see, this is the way that the world works. You have people like Putin that make their decisions and kill their opposition, and you have other leaders that do the same thing. And the media just reacts to those things because what does the media want? Remember, it's an economy. So they want your attention. They want you to talk about this. They want you to be scared about this because that's all the media knows how to do. And that is one of the fundamental reasons why, Mike, we're in this position that we're in as a country that's basically like this. It's incredibly divided, seemingly going in different directions. Because if you look at the language in the media, it also goes in two different directions. There is basically the Trump media, and there's the non-Trump media. That's essentially all media is at this point. It's take your pick. Are you on Team Trump or are you not on Team Trump? Because if you're trying to find something in the middle, there are very few options. And it's not even that it's a middle. It's just offering you real analysis about what's going on or telling you the truth about how this impacts you. And Mike's exactly right. Putin killing his main enemy. It's not the first time he's done it. It's not the second time he's done it. It's not the last time he's going to do it.
Hell, we do it.
What dictators do, unfortunately. But it's another country that has nothing to do with your life right now, unless you're maybe in the military or, related to the Russian foreign relation team that we have. So for me, I look at this and I say, oh, okay, Putin didn't kill Navalny, but Navalny died in prison. So I look at that and I say, okay, that's exactly what I would expect. Because as you pointed out, Mike, this is the fifth time they've tried to kill Navalny, the Russian.
They done it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that would be, and by the way, how much does it really impact you? It's probably a good question to ask because today I learned about it, saw the freak out by Poppy Harlow and everybody, oh, so terrible on CNN.
Did you watch CNN?
And then what's that?
Did you watch CNN?
I tune into everything, buddy. I do. I try my best to tune into everything. I try my best. Yeah. Anyway, so I watched a little freak out, and then I had leftover nachos for breakfast. I just went about my day. I mean, I'm so scared now of Putin. I'm not afraid of Putin. Never been afraid of Putin. As a matter of fact, two presidents in a row, Barack Obama and Donald Trump, both said, "Why are we freaking out about Russia? The dude's not even a threat. It's not even a threat." But now it's politically and financially advantageous, and now it's a threat. Here would be the ultimate troll. If Vlad, if you're watching the program, thanks for tuning in. Vlad likes a nooner. So this would be the ultimate troll. The ultimate troll would be to send out a picture of the guy's cell and make it look exactly like Epstein's cell and say, we don't know. He killed himself. He committed suicide. That would be the ultimate troll. Because, oh, no, Vladimir, you killed him. No, he committed suicide. No, you killed him. No.
Yeah, guards are asleep.
Asleep. What? I mean, talk about coincidence, right? I tell you, that would be the ultimate troll. I think that'd be fantastic. The internet probably already has that up. I'm sure the internet has pictures of Epstein's cell saying, this is his cell. He killed himself. Yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. He offed himself and committed suicide.
But what is it designed to do? It's designed to keep you paying attention, right? But even the conspiracy route, that is designed to get you to keep paying attention so that you keep staying on Twitter or wherever your news feed is. Or if you're really worried about Putin, you're doing the same thing. Again, we live in an attention economy. And my question always is, are you in control of what pulls your attention? Because if you're not, and I'm not fully either, you'll sit there on Instagram and you'll be on Instagram for 30 minutes. You'll be like, what did I just do for 30 minutes? Real. Nothing. That's, as an individual, as a me, as a Mike, as a you, if you are aware of what's pulling your attention and why, and it's always tying into that language they keep feeding you because that ties in your beliefs and your emotions to keep pulling you. Once you separate from that, then you kind of do what Mike and I just did here and go, all right, it's kind of unfortunate the way that humans are humans, but people always go to people, especially people in power, fearful men in power like Vladimir Putin.
And people are people, so why should it be that you and I should get along so awfully? Yeah. Somebody said that at some point. I think I just made that up. Yeah. No. This is the Nooner. Russell and Hunter's the Brewmance. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is a little early, apparently, as we both schedules B with schedules B. We were recording this. We're live. So, hey, what's that? We're just going to make it happen. So, welcome. Thanks for playing along with us. And did you check this out? This is something that happened to me this morning as I departed quickly from Poppy Harlow's freak out about Vladimir Putin and what this means to NATO. This is still my favorite question, what it means to NATO. So I did exactly what Rob was talking about, but I went over to X, I went over to Twitter, and I started seeing the courtroom video of this Fani Willis, this the woman put in charge of taking down Donald Trump in Georgia. Have you seen this, Rob? This is absolute clowndom. Like if you see the video of her and the man she's accused of having an affair with, the man that's actually put in charge of taking down Donald Trump. So they're both teaming up to put down Donald Trump, but they're having a little side thing and paying cash out of state funds and campaign funds to go on extravagant $15,000 vacations. And so this is what they're in court for. They're two of the most clowny, unsympathetic characters you could possibly have, which told me immediately, I just threw the phone, like, forget about it, man. Everybody on every side of this thing is a bunch of clowns. Everybody is a bunch of clowns. I'm sorry, Trump's legal team, y'all a bunch of clowns. Yeah, you're like characters of yourself. And then we have the people that the left is saying, take down Donald Trump. They're clowns. I mean, clowns. This woman is supposed to be a respected, like, dialed in attorney. She's a joke. It's probably one of the funniest things. Do you remember what was it? Maybe it was the grand jury person or something that came out? Rob, who was this? Remember? And she's like, I want to be the one that swears Donald Trump in, and it's that, and it just keeps going and going and going. We're in the middle of a damn circus right now. A circus. It's crazy.
Well, it's very funny that you mentioned that because P.T. Barnum, right? The circus.
Yeah,
he was a showman. He loved getting attention, knew how to get attention, and the newspapers fawned all over it. It's exactly the scenario that we're seeing here is you have a DA who gets a chance to become a nationwide name by taking on Donald Trump. Now, this is the major case against Donald Trump. Yeah, there's the Jack Smith, Washington, D.C. cases, but this is the RICO case in which the state of Georgia is alleging that Donald Trump basically turned into a mafia boss and tried to swing an election by creating this story about the lies. And that's great. But this is such a high-profile, high-pressure case, going back to what I said about control, that Fani Willis obviously doesn't have enough to prosecute this case. So this has got to be good news for Trump, that this DA is so can't handle the pressure that he's got to be like, because this case, I read the whole document. I was like, wow. This is a big case, a difficult one to defend, but now you have this ace in the hole because of her personal behavior.
Okay, but personal behavior, I'm with that. So she's corrupt. She's on the take. This is her little man pal is on the take as well. Fine, okay, get it. It's their attitude and their personalities. I would love to see the Trump team get a hold of these two. Put these guys on stand. Oh my good Lord. I mean, you cue the circus music, and it just like you have the opportunity, especially in this RICO case, and everybody that Rob and I spoke to, like Tequila Jim and our friends that are in the legal world, it was like, ooh, that's a genius move. Making this a RICO case is a genius move. It's a brilliant legal strategy. Whether it's founded or not, whether it's going to work or not, it's still the move that they had, and they played it. You would think that the powers that be would think, okay, have you talked to Fani? Have you had a conversation with her? She's not the one we want in front of the cameras. Have you talked to the guy she put in charge? He's not the one we want to put. They both look buttoned up. They look professional until they open their traps and they can't get out of their own way. And it is the most, like I said, two of the most unsympathetic characters you could possibly imagine that are tasked for the first time in American history with taking down a president of the United States. It's absolutely what I got was after the Russia deal and then seeing this on Twitter, I'm thinking we are quite literally in global clown world.
We are, but we've decided that that's what we want. And this is what I keep getting back to, Mike. And I say we collectively, there is some element of America that loves this reality show because we keep tuning in, we keep giving our time, our energy, and our money to this because it upsets us or makes us feel good or whatever. So we're attracted to that. Because what I love, my man Adam, who is one of our coaches at Arnold, says this right
That's
here.
that's actually you and Yak.
That's me and
Oh,
Yak.
I thought you were trying to show a picture of Adam. I'm sorry, my bad, buddy.
No. This phone is a dopamine device, right? It's constant dopamine all the time, as much as you want, or it's constant outrage anytime you click on something, all the way up to DAs that are not don't have enough character to say, I'm about to be in the highest profile case in the history of the United States. I am accusing a former president of violating a RICO statute, and I can't keep it together. That is really telling about how we, as voters, wherever, in this case, Georgia, how we kind of do this to ourselves, because all of it derives from our votes, and that we've accepted this system. It's a two-party system, and you got to go vote for the lesser of two evils. So in a weird end around way, all of this, I think, has at least some responsibility that we need to take and say, if we're tired of this, then we need to do something about it. We need to vote differently. We need to get together differently. And if we're not, we just need to admit it that we're love watching the boat crash.
I don't even know the boat crash. We just love watching this. I believe it's pure. It's soap opera. I mean, you got to understand. Look at, I mean, internationally. I mean, look at Mexico. They have the novellas, which are one of the coolest things. Novellas are the same as soap operas, but they have a beginning and an end. Like General Hospital, I was like, when the hell is this thing going to end? This thing has been going on for a hot minute, like 30 damn years. But I mean, we love soap operas. We just really do. We love miniseries. We love binge watching, and that's what we've become. And when you have characters like you do in Georgia, it's blinding. And I mean, I think for the most part, I think Donald Trump has dialed in the legal team to kind of be at least play that role. Like, I'm going to go up. I'm a bulldog. I'm a fighter. That's good, but I'm not a character of myself. He has one very attractive attorney that I thought was going to fall off the rails, but she has maintained a level of, look, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to act like Donald Trump, and I'm a fan of that. But prior to that, I mean, it was a clown show. I mean, poor Rudy Giuliani. Whatever happened to that poor man? That man was America's mayor. He was it, and then just fell off, especially during the Trump deal, and then now we have the other side, the opposition. You look at Letitia James up in New York. She's a character of herself. It is plain and simple. She's doing this all for her own, the love of herself. And then the civil trial, the judge in the civil trial is, oh my goodness, is he a character? So all of this just ties in. It fits into it. And in this morning, I think I just kind of made the decision, I'm just going to watch. This is going to be a good time. This is just going to be fun.
And that's how you have to approach it, because it doesn't impact your life one way or the other, but it becomes entertainment, right? Because we as humans now, I think we talked about this last week, we have what we call leisure time. We don't wake up in the morning and be like, okay, it's a race of survival today, like our ancestors had to do. Like, all right, is there enough food? Can I stay where I'm staying right now? Do I have to be on the move? Is a lion running around the corner? So we're very far removed from those days where we go to work, we go home, we live in a house or an apartment, and we have time in between job, and we spend a lot of time on whatever, this leisure time. For many of us, it's paying attention to politics because, for me, it was always thought of it as a civic duty. But now I've started to shift away from that because the politics through the media has just become another leisure activity for us to fight about rather than try to solve problems. So again, we see the clown show. We see that it's a reality show. And by and large, just about everyone in America complains about it, but doesn't do anything about it.
That's our biggest pastime. That's America's biggest pastime. Forget baseball. Complaining is America's biggest pastime. And it's so funny. And I'm guilty of this too. So please do not. I'm not judging anyone, although that is my spiritual gift. I can judge. I am not judging anybody in this because I am a huge complainer. I complain all the time. we are in the Rob knows me 16 years, for the love of grief. I can complain about anything I want to because I just think I'm American. It's still kind of our pastime. We complain in America in the most prosperous, wealthy, hand it all to you nation there is. We complain. Literally, we complain. Again, I saw some media freak out. I started to complain about it, and I went and made myself leftover nachos for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm okay. I think I'm doing okay. And here I get to hang out with my bestest pal for freaking 16 years and still do a show streaming with all of you. And by the way, yes, Grizz, I know I'm going to put it on me. I hit the wrong button. We were going to pre-record today, but we're going live. So here we are. I get to do this and even make a mistake like that. It's okay because here we are. We're having a good time. This is the greatest nation in the world. End of story. You can't fight me on that one. This is literally the greatest nation in the world. But our pastime as a nation has become complaining. I was going to say some other kind of word, but yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that the reason we're even doing this is proof of how great America is, because it is a country where no matter where you start, you can end up where you want to end up. As long as you try, as long as you fail and learn lessons and adapt and just keep going. That, I think, is the ultimate lesson, because when I think about my life and when at 16, I decided I'm going to go be a radio show host. Now, I didn't exactly know how that would manifest, but it did. And it ended up where we're at right now, right? Russell and Hunter on our old radio station was awesome. Not just for Mike and me, hopefully for you, but for the radio station, right? It was, this is absolutely amazing way that we get to live in this country. That's what's most important, is that you get to pursue your own happiness. And I think we sometimes forget that. And we think that somehow the government is supposed to protect our happiness. It's not even if Republicans are in control, because your life is your experience. It's still up to you. So that, I think, is this massive lesson that I've had in the last few months, Mike, since we've switched our lives around a little bit, right? In detaching from the news a little bit and understanding how they're trying to manipulate my emotions so I tune in. It's the same thing that Instagram does, or the same thing that TikTok does. It keeps giving you stuff that feed your brain, that make you stay. And it's like, I hate to, because it's such overused, unplug from the matrix or whatever, but it's figuring out what's pulling you and why it's pulling you and gaining control over that. That's when you really, I think, can dial in your pursuit of happiness.
I look at Caesar. Give them games and they'll never revolt. Like, you just give them games. Give them the Taylor Swift, give them the T Swizzle and Travis Kelce. Give them that, and that's what they're going to be focused on and talking about from here on out. Just keep giving them what they want. Give them their freak out. And kind of going back to Rob's point, I was down at the Hunt Club this morning getting ready for tomorrow's event, and I was hanging out with Coach Tony, and I told him, he didn't know that we are no longer with iHeart. And he said, he goes, oh man, it's just a job, no big deal. You can always find another job. And I was like, I was thinking, okay, that's good. You're right. He's right. He's definitely right in doing that. But he didn't realize that Rob and I are who Rob and I are. We're not going to stop doing this. This is our chosen field. This is what we wanted to do for years and years. Rob over 2 decades, me about 15, 16 years. And it is, we are really, so I'll say a decade and a half. So, there's going to be no changes, but why is there no changes? Why do I not have to go into a breadline? Why do I not have to just go, get a gig in the meantime and see what Rob and I can figure out? Because this is America, damn it. Period. This is the greatest nation in the world. We have this opportunity to build with Rob, to build with you. You're right here with us. We're so thankful. I'm seriously having chills right now. We're so thankful that you are here with us at the ground level of the streaming version of what Rob and I, and the culmination of what Rob and I have been doing and attempting and building for years and years and years now. And we're just the reason why we can look at a Russian dictator that takes out his opposition and kills him. We're like, hey, what's for lunch? What are you doing this weekend? Yeah, that kind
of. Well, it's just the world, right? That's just reality. And one of the great fundamental principles that have been passed down through generations is, if you as a person can accept reality and your role in it, you're so much further ahead than most people, because things happen outside of our control every day, all day. The only thing you can control is you, what you do with it, what you say with it. And I had this realization, I don't know, 3 years ago, and I've been working on accepting reality. And it's great because it's much more calming, Mike, than ever. It's just understanding that, wow, Putin is who Putin is. I'm glad I'm not in Russia, and I'm glad I'm not his opposition, but that's not my role. So for Putin to do what Putin's going to do, it's just expecting it. And when you expect it, you don't get outraged by it. You just kind of, wow, okay, interesting. So there's another story that came up that I think really, Mike, sums all this up. There was a story about how Americans, particularly the younger you get, are spending way more time alone. And I think this all ties in together because we're not really alone because we have these devices, right? Our phones, and they connect us in many different ways. But what is different is the face to face interactions, because face to face interactions are always different than phone interactions.
Yeah.
Tone, contextuality, how you carry on a conversation, how you relate to someone else. A lot of that is getting lost through this. And I think what I noticed, Mike, and we talked about this on Russell and Hunter quite a bit, is the tone on the internet is not the tone I see in real life. I spend a lot of time in real life now, away from the internet, away from Twitter, just having human interactions. And generally, I find that people are nice. People want to talk. But on this device, if you go on to, like, what's that guy? Jack Posobiec or Posobiec or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a guy who runs like human events. He's like a right-wing dude, Trump dude. All he wants to do is fight. He like wants to get in an alley fight every day. And then there's the left-wing versions of that too, who just want to get in fights because that's what they get attention from. And that's not my game. Like, I'm not trying to get in a street fight verbally on Twitter with left-wing or right-wing people. I'm just trying to live my life, man. I got my opinions, my beliefs. I understand how I want to live as a human of higher character and trying to grow into that person. That's what matters to me, not what whoever says about whoever. I'm just not at that point in my life where that really matters to me. Like, being right, Mike, is so much less important than it used to be. Like, when I was a 28-year-old talk show host, all I wanted to be was right. When I was a 38-year-old talk show host, all I wanted to be was right. Now, as a 45-year-old, hanging out with my man Mike Russell and you, Eddie, and Grizz, and Dell, and David, and Lynn, Rhonda, all I care about is, am I true to myself, and what impact positively can I have on other people?
As a 48-year-old father of teenagers, let's see, one's now married, she's not a teenager anymore, married, one's in college and one's in high school. Being right is of paramount importance to me, Rob. So I actually want to have them say each and every time I can say the words. I keep saying this as they know it all in life, and then life kicks them in the pills. And then they look at me and just say, Dad, I said, go and say the words, finish the sentence. And they say, you're right. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know.
Honesty. That's what we give you here on the Brewmance.
That's what
look, there are just different ways we live, right? It's just different ways we live life. And how many times did people tell me, don't do that because this is going to happen? And I go do that, and that very thing happened. And I'm like, I had to learn the lesson my own way. Sometimes we got to learn the hard way. It's the best way to learn.
Yes. And again, thanks for hanging out on the early nooner. Hey, so listen, this is America. So if we want to do the nooner at 10:30, we can do the nooner at 10:30. We don't care. We can do it. Yes. And again, it's my fault. I pushed the wrong button, but we're all good. So something that was interesting to me that I sent to Rob, that was one of the funniest stories, speaking of being in clown world. And then it kind of hit a little close to home. I sent this to Rob because there was a woman named Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal back in the day was the head of her NAACP chapter. Okay. NAACP stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, correct? So not a lot of white people running their chapters and the NAACP, just is what it is. She was running she was the head of her chapter, and she was, in fact, a white woman that dolled herself up to look like a black woman, to look like a light-skinned black woman. She was faking it. She literally got busted going Milli Vanilli in a race issue. That's what she was doing. She was basically what does she call it? She's transgender now. She made up that name, transgender. So Rachel Dolezal, after getting shamed out of the NAACP and basically polite society, decided that she was going to, like most people in witness protection programs, move to Arizona. And she has resurfaced as a teacher of all things at Catalina Unified School District down there in Tucson. Okay. Weird that they would hire someone. She changed her name. So apparently, if you change your name, background checks don't work in the education world in Arizona, because they just, I forget her name was it was some African language for gift of God. Rachel loves her some her. So she became. How did we know that she became a teacher down there in Catalina? Because she had her OnlyFans page. So not only was she a teacher after being a complete fraud, a liar, and a scamstress. I don't want to misgender. Scamstress, or fraudstress. Anyway, she was doing porn and a very sign up for a free trial kind of thing, only if you tell your computer that you're 18 years old. So potentially her students now can see some of the nastiest of the nasty. And here she is right here in Arizona. Great job. Great job, Tucson. Great job, public school system here in AZ, as if you needed another strike.
But I wonder about the quality of candidates that they get. Because if they chose her, do they have no one else? Because there seems like anyone else would be a better qualification without the background and the baggage that Rachel brings.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, that again was a choice by voters. Like,
true. Okay. A choice by the school district too.
Mm-hmm. So this is, again, I think right to my point is that we live in a weird world where you can almost remake yourself, go hide, come back, pop up, and no one seems to learn any of these lessons, positions in power anyways. Because if you're Rachel Dolezal and you're embarrassed like that on a public stage, that you are a white woman faking it as a black woman and getting away with it.
Literal blackface, black body, same thing.
Yeah. Well, you have a chance to look at your life and go, what did I do wrong? What can I learn here? She obviously didn't learn anything. I think that's my biggest issue with this is that missed opportunity, but that's it, right? It's we love to cover and give attention to these stories that we get entertained by and we get shocked by. How could this happen? How could this happen? So instead of her being able to go, how did this happen? How did I end up here? Let me get right with myself. Nope. Didn't do that. And I think that's the part that's disappointing with me because I've had many major mistakes in my life where I had to look at myself and go, what are you doing here, big guy? Got to fix this stuff or your life's going to change and not in a good way. But not until I did that did it matter. So that's all I just hope for Rachel. She finds herself, her true self.
Oh, she found herself.
Because that's just it.
She found all of herself.
Yeah, she did.
And I guess several all of her stuff.
Online got to see all that stuff too.
Can I pay not to see it? Can I just pay her to go away? How about this? I bet everybody would kick in a monthly fee, whatever she's making on OnlyFans, kick in a monthly fee for her just to go away. Just to be gone. She has been fired, by the way. That was the latest advancement. She has been canned because the internet, thank God for the internet for actually coming up and saying, yo, Tucson, Unified, listen up. I mean, Catalina, you have a teacher that quite literally is talking about very, very naughty things and showing very naughty bits free for the public on the internet. So and that's funny.
Was she fired because of the OnlyFans or because of her?
Not because she was a fraud.
Had nothing to do with her faking her background or who she actually is.
Nope. I think Dolezal did, and Rob is right. She had an opportunity. She had an opportunity to be like, okay, look, I am a white girl, and here's why I did this, because I see a need. I see something I need. I want to help, and I didn't feel I could be help. I could be a help as a white person and all my guilt, whatever it was. Come out with a story, a book, or whatever it is, and maybe you reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and you do some good instead of changing your name changing your entire life and moving to Tucson and becoming a porn actress online that teaches little kids.
That's
Yeah.
all.
So there's obviously some mental, some goofiness.
Yeah, oh, there's no doubt. Man, I just hope she figures it out because everything in life is an opportunity. Every bump, every obstacle. It's not just how you look at it. That's
Can
my
I say
philosophy.
something? Okay. Can I just say what the majority of it? I can only speak for a man. I'm not a female. I can only speak for men. Can I even say that I would be comfortable saying the vast majority of men going, where was this when we were in middle school and high school? Where was all of this? We had hot teachers. Where was that? Where every time. I'm just gonna say. There we go. I know. Probably not a popular opinion. Probably maybe not a popular opinion, but I think people are thinking it.
But see, going back to this is the game changer because it gives you all the computing power, more computing power in that than they landed on the moon with in 69. Like that's
true.
What we have at our disposal that pulls us in. And it's becoming aware of that, unlike Rachel Dolezal. So maybe that's the lesson for all of us. Don't be like Rachel.
Yeah, please. Just, yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many things I need to teach my daughter and my niece not to be. Apparently, we're just adding one to the list of don't be Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah, exactly.
Please. I wanted to keep my son out of jail and my girls off the pole. That's really all I wanted to. That was basically my main goals. I've done so. I think my son probably go to jail for some white collar crime. He is sneaky. This kid he can talk his way out of anything. He's fantastic. Like remember, Rob knows this because they call him Uncle Rob. Rob and I have been friends for 16 years. I taught my kids how to talk trash because I wanted them to have tough skin and know that the words and it's not to hurt you. And I taught them how to negotiate. Both of those are just coming back and biting me square in the tuchus right now. Because, man, they talk trash. They actually hurt their dad's feelings every now and again. I'm like, damn, guys, that was low.
I taught them well.
Yeah, we're playing. I swear we were playing a game. It was. I forget what it was called, but it was. It's a new game. It's a fun game. Rob, I'll introduce you because I know you guys dig games too. We'll play it when you come over. But it was kind of a charades kind of thing. But it was. But obviously your partner has to guess what you're talking about. And John goes. My son goes points to me and goes. He has one of these. It's called, and it didn't even get caused by. He said he has one of the things. Beer belly. Popped right out of there. I'm like, blank both of you. I was so mad. Do I have a beer belly? I was like, now I was conscious of it the whole night. And I taught my kids how to talk trash so they wouldn't be sensitive about things. Here I am at 48 going, am I really? Should I? Maybe I had a salad. Maybe I had a salad for lunch. Yeah.
And it is funny. Because Uncle Rob is on the receiving end of some insults as well.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
so
they don't hold back. Yeah, just don't
hold back, and they shouldn't hold back.
Unless you're ready, don't come over to the Russell house because we're
that's right.
The kids will come at you. No problem with that.
Here's an opportunity though for you to learn about yourself. What triggers you? Ask the Russell kids; they'll help you.
Hang out with the Russell kids for 10 minutes, and you'll know what you're bothered by. Because any insecurity you have, they will find it. They will find it quickly. It's like cracking a code, a safe or something like that. They'll know those. They'll wait. They'll find. And they go right to you.
Yep. And you got to know, Matt has your back. He says you worked hard on your prized beer belly. That was a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, a lot of
investment, a lot of money. It's a financial investment right here. Well, I don't walk away from equity. Let me tell you that. Okay, this is a lot of financial equity in here. Let me tell you. Appreciate
blood,
that.
Sweat, tears, baby.
Yeah, blood, sweat, something. Blood, sweat, and nachos. Yeah. So no, blood, sweat, and beers. That works out. Yeah, it does work out. That might be a shirt. Anyway, so thanks for hanging out. This is Russell and Hunter's the Brewmance nooner early edition, early on a Friday. It's okay. It's noon somewhere. It's noon on the East Coast. Brother Steve is like, dude, you guys are late. Yeah, so it's all good. I don't know if you caught this. I want to switch real quickly if you caught this, and I want to get to the whole hangout thing in a minute as well. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is President Biden's new term. Did you see his pre-Super Bowl commercial?
No.
Where he was sitting in the White House theater. He was sitting in the White House theater and he had snacks by him. And he wanted to hit the thing that everybody was talking about in the United States. He wanted to talk about the one hard-hitting issue that everyone is talking about, the one thing that he can shame corporations into fixing. I'm not kidding, Rob. Shrinkflation. You might have noticed your snacks, he said. Maybe there's a few less chips in the bag. Maybe the packaging is smaller on your carton of ice cream, and they're still charging you the same, even more in some cases. Shrinkflation, he said he calls it. Okay, thanks, Einstein. So shrinkflation. So now the two terms in his campaign, of course, until May when he's going to step down or they're going to replace him. But his campaign until that point is on the two things: shrinkflation and greedflation. Greedflation, shrinkflation, those are your two new buzzwords forget about Bidenomics. They're walking way away from Bidenomics. We're going to get back into greedflation and shrinkflation because, hell, it's everyone else's fault. It's not ours.
Also, what is it? An election year. And I've been doing this a very long time. I've covered many presidential elections. I have gone on the road to cover presidential elections in Iowa and New Hampshire. This is what they do. There's always the election language because it gets back to the original point. If you got the very beginning of us here at Russell and Hunter, which, by the way, comes at you in many different ways. It comes at you streaming live, usually at noon on Fridays, but we had to go a little early today. I had a prior engagement.
I hit the wrong button.
Yep. Mondays at 4, Fridays at noonish, and also on a podcast. So the Brewmance podcast, you can get the full episode, the audio version of it. So if you prefer to listen while driving in the car or whatever, we're making that available for you as well. But here's the other part. Share the word, because this is the ground floor. You guys are with us on the ground floor as we create the next version of the Brewmance, Mike and Rob, Russell and Hunter. And we love that you're here. But we think that there is a massive opportunity for all of us to have honest conversations, not just about politics, but about life and about things that go on that matter that other people are not capable of having. Well, we love that you're here with us to be able to do this. So we would love it if you would share the word so that we can grow this thing together. So back to this idea of what you were saying, Mike, and that this where we're at is just so fascinating, right? This time to be alive in 2024, because there are so many different fascinating things that we're seeing we've never seen in this country before. And there are some commonalities. Biden going on the attack in an election year, all he's trying to do is swing voters. So our job is to say, guys, he doesn't mean any of this. He doesn't actually care. He's just trying to emotionally impact people to scare them. So he, Joe Biden, president, is not the bad guy, so that company X, Y, and Z is the bad guy. So that you don't look at him and go, man, that Joe Biden, he's right. That shrinkflation is bad. Nonetheless, that it was government policies that most likely created shrinkflation, either through regulation, pandemic policies, supply chain closures, all of those things. That was literally a manipulated economy that he doesn't want to talk about because it makes him look bad. So of course he's going to do this. Going back to Putin gonna Putin, politician's gonna politician, Biden gonna Biden. Just a different version of it. Rob's gonna Rob, Mike's gonna Mike, Matt, you're gonna Matt, Eddie, you're gonna Eddie. You get it.
Okay, so but I don't disagree with that. I want to look into the actual man saying it. Here's a man who had to pimp his son out to get his $3 million beach home paid for cash in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Did I get that right? Rehoboth Beach? Did I do that right,
Yes.
Rob? I don't know.
That's
I know
where
East Coast
Head Beer is from.
Yeah, I don't, but I still don't know East Coast terms.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Oh, and I got to get to that in a second. Do not let me forget to get to East Coast terms because you're my man. You're the one that can translate for me. Rehoboth Beach. So he had to pimp his son out for that. He claims he has never owned a stock in his entire life. This man is going to talk to you about how the economy works. He's going to call it Bidenomics, and then it doesn't work. Then he's going to say greedflation. Here's where he and the Democrats think you are so stupid that you're not going to do your homework because you really don't know how the real world works. So greedflation is what I wanted. We all see shrinkflation. We've seen that. Unless you go to Costco. God, love it. It's so fantastic. The greedflation is he's talking about prices being high. It's hard to not have high prices when you okayed as an administration $170,000 a year for UPS drivers that are shipping a lot of this stuff. And then that goes work back to how much the company is going to have to charge to have that thing shipped because the UPS is going to have to charge more. Did you see, by the way, after the big raise for drivers for UPS that they had to lay off 12,000 people? Yeah. Shocking there. So now we have 12,000 people that are looking for work and that are probably getting some sort of a state subsidy or whatever it is. It goes around and around. But this bozo thinks that magically Wall Street stopped being Wall Street, that corporations have to not be beholden to their stockholders, that they have to not be beholden to basically have a fiduciary responsibility to charge whatever the heck they have to charge in all of the regulations and price increases that your administration has brought us, that they still have to charge the same, if not more, to meet that stock price, to give those dividends, to remain a company and not go under, really, not have to close your doors. You don't understand that. How are you? What do you talk greedflation? This isn't greed. This is how our economy works, you bonehead.
But again, it's not about being right. It's about the show. So you watch a show. Maybe you watch Andor on Disney Plus, the Star Wars show. Maybe
Solid.
you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Terrible.
Maybe you watch the news. All of
Terrible.
that. Well, it's all like a reality show, right?
Yeah.
And that's what politics more and more resembles the Real Housewives of DC. Because there are lines that are scripted lines that Joe Biden knows it's not true. He doesn't even believe, but he believes that you believe it. So all he has to do is say it. So I want to get back to my language is contagious theory. I guarantee you, if you pay attention this week, if you pay attention this weekend to what you read and what you watch, and if that's a pattern for you, you're going to take on some of that language. So if you went and you listened to nothing but Donald Trump speeches for the next week, you're going to be like, oh, all about Donald Trump, because that language is going to be in your brain.
That's a great idea. It's the greatest idea ever, Rob. It's a fantastic idea. Everyone listen to my speech. Okay.
But you do the same thing with Biden. You're going to get that language. You're going to think it's true because we don't read past the headlines, at least enough of us. You might, Mike does, I do. But the vast majority of Americans, all they want is a line from a politician to reaffirm their beliefs that corporations are bad, because many Democrat voters do not like capitalism or don't feel that capitalism is fair. I had a conversation with someone recently who said, I don't trust the free market, right? Whether that's right or wrong, that's a belief. So it guides his decisions when it comes to certain things. That's all this is. This is a move to the poll game, not a right-wrong game, not a fact game. And I think if we call that out, and I think we call it out on a louder stage, more of us call it out, more of us will understand how badly politicians love to manipulate, particularly people that they're often called low information voters, which I think is very insulting.
That's all insulting.
That's really, well, I just don't, I think that there is certain education that is kept away from people on purpose so that they don't wake up, so that they are manipulatable. That is the classic power trick that has been done on humans forever. It's done right now through, Mike, what you're saying about Biden and his shrinkflation has caused the problems. Not
greedflation.
Yes.
But it feels into what the guy you just talked about, that he says, the free market system doesn't work. That feels into that. That's because of the free market system. That's because of the free market. Let me tell you something. When there's no free market system and it's the government system, nothing free. Tell you that.
Russia.
Holy mackerel, nothing free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bad news.
I mean, great. You want to criticize capitalism? Awesome. What's the better system? It ain't communism and it ain't socialism. So what's next?
Keep an eye on Mexico. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. No, I got some insight that I'm going to be fleshing that out over the next couple of months. And I because I really want to speak to this person that has this kind of given an insight. It's an attorney in Mexico that's living here, a Mexico licensed attorney that's living here, that is bringing up some really interesting Mexico's next move. And I'm blown away. But we're going to be looking at it. We're digging into it. But I'll keep teasing it through as I get a little more information. So it's going to be good stuff. I just like to see Rob's eyebrows bounce like that. So fired up, like that kind of stuff right there. Okay, let's talk about it. Before we get to chatting with our peeps here, before we wrap up on the nooner. Rob, I didn't get to talk to you after Super Bowl. I didn't get to talk to you about which I already announced while you were sick. And welcome back, by the way. I didn't get to. I already announced your favorite Super Bowl commercial, because the Dunkings were, of course, your favorite Super Bowl commercial, because that your boys and it had Tom Brady in it. But yeah, so. Well, and by the way, it had J-Lo in it, so immediately I was like, I'm in. I don't care what you're saying. What are you selling? I don't care. Yes. And I don't care if she's insufferable. I don't care. She is not rough on the eyes. So Ben Affleck doing his thing as the boy band, the Dunk Kings. And by the way, that's still going on. If you say in social media, there's still pieces of this. It continues. And I think it's a brilliant commercial. And I hate to say it, that was the commercial of the Super Bowl. And it's Rob's dang everybody with a Boston accent kind of stuff, which makes me want to jump out of a window. But here's because you my basically my health guru, you can tell it's worked.
You're a new guru.
He's not. By the way, I'm auditioning. I'm actually taking interviews right now for a new health guru. Rob, what do you think about Tom Brady being on a donut commercial? Now, Tom Brady, who wrote a book with, by the way, an entire chapter dedicated to the types of water you can drink. And if you drink enough water, you're not going to get sunburned. That's Looney Tunes as that is. The man is like obsessed about his own health. What do you think about Tom Brady pitching probably the most unhealthy lifestyle you could possibly have in going and getting a sugar coffee with little munchkin donuts on the straw, like a martini?
Look, you got to live a little bit. Even Tom Brady has to live a little bit. He's not
you
a quarterback.
You think he has a
anymore.
donut?
He might have a donut once a year.
I don't think he
might have one donut hole once a year. Like, I could do this. I can eat this one donut hole.
His body would explode, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Well, but it gets to that other point too. And not to tune our own horn, but I'm going to our own horn, because when it came to the commercials that Mike and I did, those are products that we believed in and we used, right? That was our criteria.
Yeah.
So when you're a celebrity and you have a lot of eyes, a lot of attention, a lot of followers, there are these opportunities all the time. So it's just part of the cycle of how they try to pull you in, is they try to get you to think about, that Dunk Kings commercial was so hilarious that I have to go buy Dunkin' Donuts, especially now that Dunkin' Donuts is a nationwide brand. It's everywhere. Like when I was a kid, it was only like Boston, Rhode Island, maybe some other places, but that's everywhere. So I just look at it as, there's even Tom Brady trying to manipulate me to eat donuts.
See? Hypocrite. Not you, Tom Brady. But we're all king hypocrites. We really are. I mean, we the hypocrisy knows no bounds, especially here in my household. But it was just weird to me that Tom Brady, any kind of donut, I'm like, wait, is anyone not seeing this? Who is not seeing that Tom Brady is actually telling people to go eat sugary garbage? And by the way, Dunkin' Donuts coffee sucks. It is the most mid coffee there is. It's people just love the coffee because they're chasing a apple fritter down their throat. So anything's going to taste good. You could drink castor oil and it would taste good that Dunkin' castor oil is fantastic. Yeah, because you're chasing a Long John down.
Yeah. Well, it's no different than LeBron. Did you ever see the LeBron McDonald's commercial?
No.
He held like a Big Mac, but he didn't bite it because he doesn't eat Big Macs. He just wants McDonald's wants you to buy Big Macs, and they'll pay LeBron $5 million. Like, that's a good trade for us. So that's all this is. And again, it's if you're going about life like unaware of how things work and you start to figure out how things work, you're less manipulatable. You're more aware of why you're being pulled to eat the donut when maybe you don't want to eat the donut. I know they taste good and they give you this neurological experience and it's awesome. Trust me, I'm a guy who loves donuts. I love a Boston cream donut. How stereotypical can I get? A guy from Boston loves a Boston cream donut. But I might have once a year at this point as a treat, maybe twice.
Yeah, but that's cream donuts. Don't even get me started. Him and I we'll go arguing around that all damn day long. But Rob's the guy that didn't like bacon for most of his life, so I don't trust this. Your palate and I we're just never going to agree on that. Did you see the Christopher Walken?
That was good.
That's amazing.
That was fun.
See everybody doing a Walken impression because
everybody has one.
I
know. All have a walking impression. Not as good, but we got one. You just got to talk slower.
Yeah, is it an absolute legend? So but you know what I saw the other day, which was fantastic. I saw the old Michael Jordan, Larry Bird McDonald's commercial. He's like, "I'll play for your you play." He said, "Well, I'll play for your Big Mac." Remember that? And they're basically playing first one to miss. And then they're just, off the scoreboard, down there, all net. It's just, see, that was back when advertising was just always good. It didn't even have to be a Super Bowl commercial. Yeah. Yeah. All right. This is about the time of the show where we start to wrap things up, and I get old and I put my glasses on because I want to talk to you. And then, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Not good try, Rob. That's what Matt said. Yeah. Tucker Carlson and Kid Rock. That's actually become kind of a cool pairing. I mean, the more people hate Tucker Carlson, the more I want to listen to him. Yeah. Okay. So past athlete and vices. Okay. Did you catch any of that, Rob?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. They were asking how many Miller Lights, I think it was Miller Lights, or how many Diet Cokes. Like Trump drinks, I think something like 16 to 20 Diet Cokes a day.
Stay hydrated.
He says, I guess. I mean, come on, the man's not a portrait of health. I mean, unless you put him next to Biden, he looks like
He's still gonna live to be like 105, somehow.
I almost said he looks like Bruce Jenner, but that would have been a bad. Yeah. Do we call him the late Bruce Jenner? As he used to be, artist formerly known as. Anyway, but Kid Rock looked at John Daly and said, I watched that guy take John Daly looked at Kid Rock and said, he's watched me take 3 bottles of vodka down right in front of him. And Kid Rock is like, yep, I've seen it. That dude said he could drink 46 Miller Lights in a day.
Damn.
That's why I love that. Remember when Daly and his son took on Tiger and his son? And the Dalys won? They won the golf. They won the match. Yeah.
Well, son is huge.
But just the picture of the two of them, Tiger and John Daly, on the first tee. And Daly's got a big cigar and he's like this. He's loud outfit and this big giant belly. That's a real beer belly, kids. And then there's Tiger all perfect, blacked out in his Nike stuff, and he looks all perfect and slim and in shape, and is like, sorry, that guy won. The other guy won.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Well, but I mean, I think Tiger's son was 10 and John Daly's son was like an adult. So I think they had an advantage.
Oh, yeah, he's playing for Arkansas. He's on the Arkansas golf team.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He can crush the ball. I remember I watched one of those drive, like, dang.
Okay, I know we're gonna wrap in a second here. I know we keep these things to about an hour, but Rob, if you could help me out with this. Mm-hmm. So I took my son to the driving range last week, and it's his first time being on a driving range. We went to Top Golf, things like that, just goofing around. And I took him he wants to really learn the game of golf. So I was really working him through with half swings and mechanics and all this. There was a guy in the next bay over from us with the ugliest swing I've ever seen since Charles Barkley. It is one of the ugliest golf swings you'll ever see in your life. But he could hit the ball. So it was just a bunch of wrong things that worked together and actually get the ball to go straight. He could actually hit the ball. The dude, when he was done, he came over and started talking, interrupted me and started talking to my son about what he needs to do to swing properly. And I was trying to kind of interject, and that's what I've been working at. The guy didn't even listen to me; he just kept talking to my son. I thought that was one of the most rude things I have ever seen, and I was almost offended by it. Should I be offended by this, Rob? You are my spiritual and temper guru.
I would say no. I would say people going to people. That's one of my wife came up with that line a while back. Said people going to people, and in this, it's unfortunate. Was it rude? Yes. Was he not listening? Yes. But it's a moment in time that has passed. Leave it in the past.
Oh, no, I'm not still mad about it. At the time, I was upset about it. At the time, I think I had every right to be upset about it. Like, bro, I'm here having a wonderful, couple hours with my son, and here you come up there you ain't know what you're doing, which you don't. Like I said, one of the ugliest swings I've ever seen in my life. And he kept at it. He didn't stop. We're walking. He went over to the practice green. And John and I were done, and we were walking by the practice screen, and he kind of looked at John, kind of motioned to him, and reiterated what he was telling him. I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle of where we're going to go for dinner, talking to my son, and
maybe he thought he was helping. We're interesting, all of us.
Yeah,
we're very interesting.
Yeah. And thank you all for the well wishes. Mm-hmm. What's that?
I'm working on my judgment, not judging, just accepting.
Matt, you're going to get us in trouble. Yes. Not that we've already seen Paige.
No,
I've heard. Yeah, no, don't even know what you're talking about. Matt, stop trying to get us in trouble, Matt. Dang. Come on, man. Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. No, but I bet Paige is a fantastic athlete. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Anna
Yeah,
Kournikova.
well, she's got some skills.
It's okay. All right. Hey, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Guys, have a great weekend. Have a lot of fun. And just stay safe. Always don't drink and drive and all the things that your parents would tell you. We're going to go ahead and tell you. But this is he's Rob. I'm Mike. This is Russell and Hunter's The Brewmance, the Friday nooner-ish. We'll catch you Monday at 4:00, and always on the podcast as well. Monday at 4. Remember, we got a lot to talk about. So that's when we're going to go long form. We get to play with you guys. You play with us. We're going to have a great time. And again, thank you for being here and starting this off with us as we stream at least twice a week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks.